Hi guys, so this week I'm doing a video on anger, reactions and responses. So obviously the opposite of that is being rational and logical and calm and calculated. So it's the blind teaching the blind if you are none of those things, because I am not any of those things either. But I have done some research because clearly I had to, because I didn't have that information just in my brain because I'm terrible at it. So we can't always be perfect at everything, right? So I wrote down a little bit of a kind of like a list to work through with you guys, and then I will add to it with some exercises that I have looked up and I know and all of that kind of stuff. All right, so when it comes to reactions, right, reactions are a part of the lizard brain, right, which is the back of the cortex, your brain, and it's pretty much makes you just auto-respond in a fight or flight kind of way. So it makes you kind of try to protect yourself, try to make yourself safe. And then you've got the cognitive, processing, the motor, the pilot of our ship that is driving our decisions. And then you have mammal brain. And mammal brain is kind of just very simple things. Like we don't really go into that many feelings, but more just sadness or happiness kind of thing, just one or two. So it's kind of like a needs-based process. So when it comes to response means we're not letting them hijack our ship, because lizard and mammal brain will come for you. They will so come for you. And I tell you what, I just had an incident just before where lizard brain was like, dude, we need to freak out right now. And I was like, hey, I'm the captain. I'm running this ship. Okay, this situation is not going to throw me. I'm not going to be thrown overboard. I ain't going to walk the plank. I'm going to control this ship with, proper decisions. And I think that that's really important to kind of be mindful of being rational. So when we have something crazy that pops up and, we think to ourselves, this could happen and this could happen and this could, I'm so unsafe. Sometimes we can catastrophize it to a point where we absolutely lose our minds, and we throw ourselves into like an anxiety or rage, or we can make assumptions towards the other person and say, well, they directly did that to hurt me. Like, they know all my triggers, they know all the problems that I have. So what they just did totally affected me on purpose, which is, it's probably unlikely. Yes, there are, some people who fall into the toxic category, but probably they don't know exactly how everything affects you either. And we always mold and change. So if they do know what affects you, don't show them a reaction. That's what they want. So, I've got a small list here to start with. So to get through, a bad temper, when you're really angry, talks about breath control. So, breathing exercises, can be anything you want. You can have your eyes closed, you can have them open, you can be at the beach, you can be walking, you can be laying on your bed, you can be also doing a grounding exercise, or a visualization exercise. There are so many options for that, which I will go into. Okay, so the next one is muscle relaxation. So do you think that when you get angry, do you tense up? I know I do. It's hot over here, guys, so sorry. I'm just trying to get rid of my little mustache. Okay, muscle relaxation. Okay, so yeah, if somebody kind of comes at me, I'm like, oh, I get really tense, and that actually is a sign to your brain to freak, to freak out, to tense up, to fight, to either run or freeze, fight, flight, or freeze. That's kind of the three that we've got there. And if another person as well, you think about it, when you approach a situation, try to match that person's behavior. And I don't mean match their aggression if they're aggressive, but if they're not aggressive, try to match their behavior, try to match their attitude. It's like if I have someone come at me and they're annoyed, I'm automatically going to be annoyed, because I'm going to be like, well, they're out to get me, that my defense system starts ticking away and I start going into battle mode. I get my spear, I'm ready, I'm like, all right, what words can we use? Dish, 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 dish. It's very, it's kind of like a little battle in modern society where people need to watch their communication, because it is make or break. It can either make the situation or break it. It can destroy friendships. It can create resentment and regret. I mean, there is just so much that can happen from being aggressive all the time and not communicating in a way which actually feels authentic to you. I mean, if you feel guilty after getting annoyed, that doesn't sit with your character. That's why. Because your character, the person who you are, you don't envision your behavior to be that way. So if you're sitting there feeling guilty, there's something going on. Now, I think it's always important, especially, if you second guess yourself, to kind of ask a loved one, someone who's not involved maybe, look, I said this and I did this. Is that something that was legitimate? Would that behavior be okay, in another circumstance, if I did it to you, etc. And that person can give you a logical kind of, they call it a critical friend. So someone who will be honest with you, because guilt is a bit of a monster, and when you have it sitting in your own area, and maybe you've got a manipulator or a toxic person using that guilt to control you. So I think it's important to kind of come to a point where you trust yourself. So you need to test that out. Get to the point where you trust yourself, you trust your behavior, and if you do second guess yourself, ask a critical friend, so that you've got that backup there to protect yourself, so that you can respond, so that you're not, when something happens, you're not going, oh my goodness, I need to protect myself because they're always out to get me. Sometimes it's just that person's personality. They're just quite sarcastic, and you take everything that they say as aggressive or as an attack. And I guess that comes down to what you want for your life. Do you want that person in your life? Do you need that person in your life? And could you look at, because you can't change their behavior, so could you look at maybe communicating to them, hey, that sarcasm makes me upset. Could you explain that you're being sarcastic, or I don't know, whichever avenue you want to go down. Or you could take it on yourself to say, he's always sarcastic, she's always sarcastic. I mean, that's something that I need to deal with. I need to take that on board, and I need to not be triggered by that because I know that. Or, you can cut them out of your life. I mean, there are different strategies for that one need that you need filled, to stop living in that guilt mindset, or to have those negative feelings because of your reactions, not responses. Okay, so be rational, put it into perspective is the last one on this list, and get it out. Express yourself. If something happens, the research that I've looked at said express it automatically. So do it not necessarily automatically, but rationally. So straight away. So if you've got a problem with someone, talk to them about it. Don't leave it. Don't let it bottle up. But pause before you say it. Think and pause, so that you're not sitting there and kind of lashing out at that person and saying things that you don't really mean. Because a lot of people think that when we say things, when we're angry, that's what we really mean and that's what we really think. And I've been in the same position. I've thought to myself, oh, that person really didn't like me all of those times, and all of that background history that we had together was a lie, and it felt very icky, and it really hurt me. And then I realized, this person has a problem with anger. This person fires, weapons, shots just continuously. She gets her weapons ready and she fires when she's mad. And I think that is really important to kind of look at that and kind of go, okay, so this person that you care about has these traits. How can you protect yourself from reacting in the same way? Because we don't want to match their angry behavior, but we want to match their positive behavior if we feel like being angry. Do you know what I'm saying? Okay, so I've got a few how to handle anger here, some information. So 1, identify and avoid. So just avoid, things that make you angry. 2, analyze the feelings as soon as they come up, because obviously we can't always avoid things that make us angry. So as soon as those feelings come up, be aware of them. And another thing is find out where they are in your body. I think that is really important to be aware of where that feeling is. I mean, I did an exercise at my NVC course, and we looked at feelings, and we looked at like closing our eyes and imagining where that feeling was. So if you go anger, you close your eyes, you think of what color it is for you, you think of where it is in your body, you think of where it appears in your body. Depression, sadness, being disgruntled, look at all of the different feelings that you might feel regularly. Maybe write them down and maybe do a little exercise. And analyze where you feel them in your body, so that you can actually, if you're not completely in control of your feelings, you can know that's the feeling that's come up. I can feel that. I know where that is. That's the only one that I knew that was in that area. And if it's not that feeling, what feeling is it? I think that's really important. Okay, so do you lash out because you want that feeling to go away? I think that's important as well. Is it actually an escapism, the anger? Because it's trying to push people away, and it's trying to push that sadness or whatever else is away. And often you will find anger is the front man. Anger's not the end man. Anger's not all of the men in between. Anger is the front man. So behind the front man are all of these men pulling the strings, right? And you think about feelings. Behind anger is usually sadness, is disappointment, is shame, is guilt, is fear. There are so many different feelings as well. So it's really important to have a look at that. So find a way to manage the anger. So try some deep breathing like we were talking about. So remember, deep breathing, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. So remove yourself from the situation. That's another one. A grounding exercise. Remember, a grounding exercise is getting into your body, getting out of your head. Get out of your head. Your head is causing you so many problems. Your head is saying, you're not safe. Like, look, that just happened. Your head is saying, your head is saying, oh my goodness, that car came out of nowhere and it could have hit you. And your body's kind of like, but I'm okay. Like, it didn't hit me, right? So sometimes it's really important to get out of your head and into your body. So a grounding exercise helps to do that. So press your palms up against each other, press your back up against a wall, go for a walk, put your skin on something cold. That's another thing. Put your feet in water, so communication, so the way you would like things said to you. So be mindful of how you talk to that person, how you communicate to that person, and also communicate to them that's how you would like to be treated. I mean, it's really difficult to treat someone well if they don't even know your standards. Your standards are like, oh yeah, this day is okay to talk to me like this day. This day it's not, because I'm having a stressful day and you spoke to me like this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, it's really important to kind of have yourself level so that you can tell other people what you want. Because otherwise people are kind of stepping on eggshells. Like, they're just sitting there kind of going, well, I don't know how to behave around you, because one minute it's okay and the next it's not. So maybe get some ground rules and say what's really not okay all the time. And then, you know, if there are other things, well, you can maybe communicate when you come to that person's house or whatever. Look, I'm having a really kind of stressful day. Just please be mindful. I'm a bit edgy. I really don't want to snap at you, but if I do, I'm so sorry. I mean, look, that's before it happens. You're pre-warning them. You know, that's just an idea. So visualization exercises. So that's when you close your eyes, you do some breathing, 4 seconds in, 8 seconds out. You visualize a success or a stream or somewhere in nature or whatever is convenient to you, and you use that to just try and relax and feel a bit more peace when you're really angry, obviously. Okay, so look at the pause. Always look at the pause. When you want to talk, pause, think, then act. When you want to act, pause, think again, then act. Depending on, you know, what kind of person you are. Me, I'd probably need to pause a few times. So, you know, when we think about words, it's a common thing that people think that that physical violence is worse than emotional or mental abuse. But in actual fact, emotional or mental abuse usually does more damage in the long run because it tears down a person from the inside. So I think it's really important, if you're going to say something mean, maybe double think it, because that person might be quite affected by that for a longer time than if you, obviously hitting people is not okay either. But yeah. Okay. 5, do some stress reduction. So exercises, walking, sports, something that gets your body moving and your endorphins pumping, and you know, it is good to remove yourself from a stressful situation and get moving. It's the movement that really helps. Okay, so 6, talk about issues as they arise. So, you know, like I said, it's a ticking time bomb if we don't address it. 7, use humor to diffuse situations to reduce intensity. I do that all the time. Sometimes I want to bring something up with someone. I don't know how to do it. So I just make a joke and I go, you know how you're always late all the time? You just expect that. You know, but obviously a joke. That was just horrible. That was just like laughing while making a statement. But you know what I'm saying. That's me. I'm always late all the time. So take a time out, focus on the pause. So take time out from the situation or person. Sometimes you need to take a breather, like take 3 weeks out, don't talk to them, you know, or tell them I'm going to go away for a little bit. I need a bit of me time, you know, decompress, see things more clearly, put things into perspective. And when you need help, ask for it. So tools, you know, therapy is a tool. You know, AA, NA, church, all of those things, they're all tools we can use to help us through to, you know, get into a clearer mindset. Something that I read here, we can control how we act, not always how we feel. And no matter how angry you get, restrict the expression of your anger to the incident that provoked it. I had to read that like several times, and I realized that is about, you know, when you're talking to someone and you say, you're always late, you know, you always make me feel this way. Well, that is just opening the door to no conclusion, because the other person is like, well, I'm not always bad, you know. But it's also, you know, kind of mixing a bunch of things in together and trying to get one solution out of it, which is anger. And it's not going to solve anything. Anger doesn't solve anything. So, yeah, guys, look, I think I've pumped you guys full of heaps of information. So, I have more. So if you want to ask any questions, if you want any exercises, I've got printouts. I can take a photo, send it to you, or I've got meme versions. All right, take care. And bye, guys. See you next week.